Hi, Tom and Matt. Welcome to India. And thank you for
Thank you.
gifting us such a fabulous film. Can't stop thinking about it. And of course, as everyone says, we'll always go back and watch it one more time at least, if not more.
Great.
Just wanted to know that, for everyone, you've experienced it before, that a Christopher Nolan film is supposed to be a transformative experience for everyone involved in it. But is there any one single aspect of the filming of this that has kind of completely changed you, or changed your ethos as an actor, that will stay with you?
Yes.
For both of you.
Yeah. For me, it's that I've always known that experiences happen, but they are what you make of them. And I think I felt such gratitude for the entire time from the moment he called me, through the research phase and preparation, through the film. I think there were things that would have been difficult for me 20 years ago. I might have been grumbling about how cold I was and how wet I was and how uncomfortable, because this required discomfort for everybody, for the crew and the cast. We were out in the elements. We were kind of at the mercy of whatever was happening that day. And I felt such joy and gratitude every minute. And I'm hoping that I can carry that with me, because there's a real lesson in there.
Right. Tom?
For me, I guess it's a sense of ambition, to have been a part of something that feels groundbreaking and unique, and to see Chris come to set every day with a real sense of purpose to achieve something that has never been achieved before has just kind of lit a fire in me to tackle whatever it is that I do next with the same tenacity that Matt and Chris had. I think seeing people that are so established in our business still come to set with that same hunger and passion that I imagine you had when you were writing Good Will Hunting is something that I found really inspiring.
Right. But Christopher Nolan's set, as I said, is full of learnings, and I'm sure this must have come with its fair share of it, if not more. But did you kind of have to unlearn, or, for lack of a better word, put on the back burner in terms of your skill set as an actor and bring to the set of this film?
Absolutely. It was, we all talked about it. It felt like being on your first film set again. The first time as a young actor, when you walk on a film set, it's very overwhelming. There's all these people, there's cameras, there's all this technical side that it can make it hard to focus. It can kind of wrong foot you a little bit. And then you become used to it, and it just becomes like driving a car. It's a skill that you don't really think about. You can do other things while you're doing it. But this, with the IMAX camera, when the blimp isn't on it, it does sound like a lawnmower. And also the film cycles through in under 3 minutes. And so if you're doing an intimate scene, a longer scene, you have to hold that energy while they stop and they reload the camera and they start again. So there are these technical aspects to it that did make it feel like, oh, we're back to the beginning of our careers again.
Tom, what was it like for you?
I sort of have to echo what Matt said, to be honest. I've been so lucky to make movies on such a big scale, but those movies really require you to use a huge amount of imagination. But when you work with Chris, he's done all of that work for you. What he has done is built a world, and he is inviting you into it. And as an actor, you couldn't have asked for a better set of circumstances to tell a movie on such a grand scale, but in such an intimate way. And I think, I speak for all the actors that we're so grateful to him for assembling such an amazing crew that really made our jobs so much easier. I think without the crew, it would have been impossible to achieve what Chris wanted. So just a huge amount of gratitude. Right.
Okay. Also, what was your first reaction when you heard that something as epical as the Odysseus was, the Odyssey, Odysseus' story was being brought to life on screen, even though it was in the hands of Christopher Nolan, and was I'm sure there was awe, as you said, every moment on set, but was there also an element of shock at what was being done?
Yeah, it was. It's one of our oldest stories, and it is massive. And so knowing the way he works, and that it would all be in camera, and he would figure it out with established film techniques that worked 80 years ago that David Lean used, and I was immediately aware of the scale of it. And then walking on set was an incredible experience because there were thousands of background artists, that, you know, massive crew, you know, the scale of Ruth de Jong's design. It really was, as Tom said, it was a complete world that you were stepping into. But that's such a unique experience now in films that again, it was a joy.
Huh?
Yeah, I guess I'd have to echo exactly what Matt said, to be honest. You know, what I think is so amazing about making this movie is it feels like the experience was universal. I think if you ask that question to Corey, our costumer, to Hoyte, the cinematographer, you know, or George, our stunt coordinator, everyone feels like they have an equal part to the Odyssey and to this piece of material. And I think that Chris's ambition is unmatched. And I know I was really surprised about the genre. Like, I would never have, if I had a million guesses, I would never have guessed that this would have been the piece of material he wanted to tackle. But aren't we lucky that he did?
Of course. Okay. So these characters, of course, exist in a different time and space. But is there any one thread? Of course, the emotionality of it must have really played a big role in striking a chord. But is there one aspect of your respective characters that felt especially close to you and true to you?
I think for me, it was what he's carrying, right? And so it's this incredibly complex character who a lot of things happen to, but there's a lot happening inside of him as well. And so as an actor, it's such a gift to be able to play such a dynamic character. You know, it's so rare to find that in Hollywood movies. And you know, it's just such a full and rich character to play. So that was what I thought about the most as I was doing it.
For me, it was this idea of yearning and longing. And I think there's a really important theme throughout the film, which is something that we could all exercise more in our daily lives, which is that idea of Zeus's law, which is do others as you'd had done to you.
Do unto others. Yeah,
do unto others as you do.
Have others do unto
There you go. That's what I'm trying to say. And what's so fascinating is that my character, when you meet him, is at the breaking point of doing away with that law. And I think that that's a really exciting thing for me to explore as a young actor. And I really enjoyed this idea of this kind of original coming of age story. I think if you look at cinema, so many movies have drawn from the Odyssey.
Of course.
So kind of feeling like we're at the beginning of those themes was a really exciting thing.
Okay. Both of you have been to India before, you know, in various capacities, on various things. This is a country that is full of colors, full of people, full of everything else. But is there any one aspect of this country, however little or much you've experienced, that kind of will stay on with you?
The people. Yeah. I mean, hands down, I've met the most wonderful people here in all the various capacities in which I've come. And that's what always stays with me.
I'd have to echo that again. But for me, another thing is the food. I think the food here is just, there's so much care that goes into it. And, you know, we've been on tour now for weeks and weeks and weeks, and we've been living in hotels, and, you know, you eat all this lovely food around the world. But last night we ate here in the hotel, and it felt like a home-cooked meal. It didn't feel like we were in a restaurant. We must have tried 17 different dishes.
Wow.
And every dish came with a really unique piece of information about your culture, about where it was cultivated. We had this mustard sauce that they collect from the Himalayas, and it's not cultivated. It's just a wild mustard. And it felt really special. It felt more than having a dinner. It felt like an experience. And I think that, you know, Indian food is something that's celebrated all around the world, but to get to experience it here was really wonderful.
Great. Thank you so much. That's my time. You should be actually sleeping after that 17 spread meal.
I slept so well last night.
Great. Thank you so much.